Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Since forever, we've been told that eating 2 devil fruits is impossible, that the body would explode, that no one could handle it, that it's a universal rule. But then, Luffy comes along and starts disrespecting everything. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. First, his fruit wasn't the Gomu no Mi, not at all. It was a mythical Zoan, a legendary Zoan, a Zoan that turns him into Nika, the sun god. And what does Nika represent? Freedom, joy, revolution, good chaos, a character who isn't bound by any rules. So it starts like this. If anyone in the world can have the freedom to do whatever they want, even eat 2 devil fruits without losing their life, it's Luffy. He's already defied the laws of physics, ignored gravity, and turned his fighting style into something straight out of a cartoon. He stretches his eyes, turns the ground into a trampoline, inflates his own heart to energize himself. What else does he need to do to show that he's different from everyone else? And then we start thinking about symbolism, because Luffy isn't just a pirate. He's the chosen one of a hat that's passed through the hands of extremely important people. It belonged to Roger, it belonged to Shanks, and now it's his. He's the guy who represents laughter in times of fear, the guy who shows up and changes everything without even knowing how. When he defeated Kaido, the whole world trembled. And what appeared on his face? A big grin. So, if he represents freedom, and freedom is the right to do whatever you want, why couldn't he break the rule of the second fruit? Then there's another point that makes me think about this. His fruit is already strange by nature. It's a Zoan, but it seems like a paramecia, and at times, it has almost Logia-like effects. When he's in Gear 5, it seems like he can become anything. He turns into fire, smoke, inflates, stretches, flattens himself, or becomes an elastic doll that doesn't even exist in real life. The logic of his fruit is the logic of imagination, and if he imagines it, he can do it. Isn't that the most broken power of all? If he imagines he can eat a second fruit, maybe he can. Not because he's stronger, but because he's freer. Luffy's fruit works based on that. Total freedom. It's no coincidence that Vegapunk said this fruit grants the ability to fight in the freest way possible. And what's freer than breaking the most basic rules of the devil fruit system? And then I start to dig deeper. What if Nika is a fruit with a will of its own, as the Gorosei hinted? What if it waited for Luffy to be born just to choose him as its user? If this fruit is the embodiment of laughter and hope, maybe it didn't just give Luffy the power to fight freely, but the ability to alter the entire devil fruit system. Maybe through Nika, Luffy can create a reality where he can eat another fruit, like a bug authorized by his fruit. And of course, I'm not saying he's going to go around eating any fruit just because he can, but think with me. What if at a critical moment in the story, he needs an extra power? What if someone close to him is about to lose their life and he could inherit their fruit? What if fate throws that second fruit in his lap and he has to choose between keeping the logic of the world or saving someone he loves? And then there's another thing that makes me think. Teach Blackbeard. He ate 2 fruits. He didn't explode, he didn't lose his life, and yes, his body is strange. Marco said his body structure is different, but is that all? Or is there a connection between the darkness of the Yami no Mi and the freedom of Nika? Could they be opposites? One represents imprisonment, gravity, weight. The other represents lightness, elasticity, freedom. Maybe Teach ate 2 fruits because of the power of his darkness, which absorbs everything, and maybe Luffy can do the opposite, because he's so free that nothing limits him. They're 2 forces that defy the logic of the world. One with the gravity of darkness, the other with the lightness of laughter. And think about it. If Luffy, in Gear 5, can do whatever he wants, like create rabbit ears in midair, turn the ground into jelly, laugh even in the worst situations, is he already starting to play with the laws of nature? And what if he can remodel his own body to accept a second fruit, like an expansion of Gear 5, a new stage where he uses the power of Nika to redesign himself? And here comes the big question. What fruit would make sense for Luffy to eat? Maybe something that complements freedom, something that involves the sky, sound, music, wind. A fruit that doesn't bind him but frees him even more, like a fruit that lets him fly for real, or a fruit that turns laughter into power. Imagine a fruit that absorbs the joy of the people around him and turns it into energy. That fits him so well, but it could also be something more practical. What if he inherited a fruit from someone he loves, like Sabo? What if Sabo ended up losing the fight and the Mera no Mi became available again? What if Luffy, in a moment of desperation, ate that fruit to ensure that Ace and Sabo's legacy continued within him? It would be crazy, but a kind of crazy that suits him. But that would totally make sense for Luffy, especially now that he's basically the embodiment of freedom in the form of a rubber-drawn doll. He's turned into Nika, the sun god. And if we're imagining a scenario where he can eat a second devil fruit because freedom is about breaking the rules with style and a big grin, then let's come up with fruits he would eat without losing his essence. And this is where it gets really fun because Luffy isn't the type of character who would go well with a fruit that's cold, serious, dark, or controlling. Nothing like that. It has to be a fruit that matches his wild nature with laughter, chaos, the ability to improvise in any situation, and the power to change the course of history with a punch that's a joke. And if we're thinking about this crazy world where anything is possible and nothing is too limited, we can imagine fruits that are practically extensions of Gear 5 itself. So here's my idea, a fruit of sound. Imagine Luffy with an Oto no Mi, a sound fruit, maybe a Paramecia, or even a mythical Zoan representing a spirit of sound, or a pure Logia of sound waves. This fruit would give him the power to turn any noise, sound, voice, or sound in the environment into an attack. And the craziest part, his laughter could be amplified to the point where it becomes a physical attack. Can you imagine him laughing so loudly that the enemy starts vibrating like jelly until they can't take it anymore? And it doesn't stop there. The fruit of sound could make him dance while he fights, with the rhythm of the battle matching his own rhythm. It would be like a spontaneous choreography of punches. This fits perfectly with his wrestling style. And think of the sound effects. Every punch could come with that boing, plof, punch, kaboom, but real, like sound-based attacks that explode on impact. Totally cartoonish. Totally Gear 5. Now let's go even wilder. Imagine a Wara no Mi, the fruit of laughter. This fruit could turn any laughter into physical form. So the more laughter in the environment, the stronger Luffy gets. And if he can make his enemy laugh, which he's great at, the enemy becomes more vulnerable, as if they're entering his world. The fight would almost turn into a comedy show where Luffy is the supreme clown, but at the same time, the most dangerous one. He'd have the power to free people through laughter. This would fit so well with Nika, another fruit that would be insanely cool. The Piku no Mi, the fruit of drawing. It would let Luffy draw with his fingers in the air, and whatever he drew would come to light, like a conscious toon force. He draws a sledgehammer, and bam, a sledgehammer appears. He draws a bridge, and everyone crosses it. This fruit would fit perfectly with Gear 5's world, because Luffy already fights like he's drawing his own rules. But what if he could do it literally? Imagine him drawing a rubber wall, a fish-shaped rocket, or even a giant clone of himself with a mustache just for fun. Now, let's talk time-related fruit, but not the usual stuff like freezing time or fast-forwarding. That would be too serious for Luffy. I'm talking about the Jikan no Mi, the fruit of chaotic temporality. This fruit messes with time just for him. Like, he could make one part of his body move faster than the rest, or make a part of him go back to a state from a few seconds ago. Like, he takes a punch to the stomach, his stomach goes back 2 seconds in time and heals. He throws a punch, his hand is already 2 seconds ahead and lands the punch before being thrown. It's like he's always behind and ahead at the same time. It would be the craziest, yet most functional thing, and it would match the unpredictability Gear 5 brought. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.